Hey there, and welcome back to my Conversations with No One, a place where I try to share my experiences of living in a non dual state. I'm not here to promote non duality or enlightenment or trying to teach others how to achieve it. I just want to provide a look into what it's like to actually experience it firsthand instead of as a belief or practice or philosophy. So, in the 6 years since my paradigm shift, I found myself slowly and it seems naturally going further and further into the non dual experience. Sort of a chain reaction. And in that time, I've experienced a consistent stream of smaller shifts in understanding, shedding what feels like layer after layer of my duality or my attachment to ego stories. And I've also had one major shift that changed my journey significantly. And I've been aware of this process consciously, as well as having the understanding that this will most likely keep happening at whatever moments I'm ready. It's like slowly dissolving away, but also a bit like sinking into a warm bath. But as my experience goes deeper, my sensitivity to ego seems to heighten. When I interact with people, I experience them with what feels like a new sense. Like I can pick up the difference between ego, mind story, and alignment of consciousness. I use a music metaphor for this because when I'm listening to someone speak, it's like listening to music I know well. On one hand, there's the music of consciousness, and on the other, there's all the other music made by all the people who identify with themselves and with their duality. So when I listen to someone talk about spirituality or teaching non-duality, it's like I can almost hear the wrong notes that come from ego mind. And then when I listen to everyone else, I can also hear when they have occasional moments of harmony with consciousness. This sounds a bit crazy, I think, when I try to explain it this way, but the reality is probably closer to simply recognizing the truth, or the difference between the truth and ego story when I encounter it. And this actually helps me engage with people with where they're at, and also shows me where my perspectives might be of value. I've also found that it seems like I'm finally able to express myself authentically without creating defensiveness, to play my music in a way that others can actually hear it as it is instead of triggering feedback from their ego. Well, I guess I can do that some of the time at least. But this sensitivity makes it really hard to engage with those who are in a state of ego domination. The more right someone thinks they are, the more blindly they believe their own stories, the more uncomfortable with dissonance I feel. And the less value I feel I can offer by interacting with them. Because of this, I seem to naturally gravitate towards those who are in a more open state, those who exhibit curiosity instead of hard, fast opinions, and who engage in self-awareness instead of self-defense. But it's important for me to continue doing the work and staying aware that ego mind is always influencing our experience of consciousness. When confronted by any adverse reaction to people or things, I try to look inward and look for the source of dissonance instead of projecting it onto others. I recognize this sensitivity I developed could actually be a trauma response left over because, well, I was one of those people who knew they were right. And I was crushed when I learned just how wrong I'd always been. I was crushed not so much because of my pride, but because of how much my previous convictions had bullied, gaslit, and undermined the feelings of people I care about, people I love the most. And maybe I haven't fully forgiven myself. And so I'm projecting this onto those who remind me of the old me. I also need to consider whether the reason I can't bear to be around these people for long is that I haven't yet really transcended it myself. I have to constantly ask myself how much of my perspective is still ego story. Because if I don't keep asking myself that, I could easily end up repeating the same cycles just in a different way. Of course, the non-duality perspective is, who is this me that's experiencing this? And the answer is, there is no me. But with that as a given, what I'm trying to refer to here is my awareness of this me. And as I go deeper into my non-dual journey, there might come a time I'm much less aware of the dualistic me. And maybe then I won't feel a dissonance. But in the place I'm in now, and I'm still experiencing this story, and, well, I find it kind of fascinating, actually. I love and appreciate all the music around me, and yet I still gravitate to the songs with at least some trace of harmony. I have very good friends who sing more dissonant songs and yet appreciate harmonies when they hear them. And some friends who go through cycles of harmony and dissonance and back again. So while I become uncomfortable around people who have no awareness or interest in harmonies, I seem to surround myself with those my harmony has value to. I also don't end up spending a lot of time with those who are only in harmony. And that could be because with those people in those places, my harmony has less value. And maybe it's also because of the dissonance I still have myself. But as with all things, I guess I'll find out. I really look forward to experiencing how this all evolves, but that potential state is no more or less perfect than this one, so for now I'll simply enjoy the moment I'm at while I'm still here. Well, that's all for now. Thanks again for listening, and have a great day.